Hey there, how you doing? I hope you are all doing well. Coming to you from home this afternoon. Greetings to you. May the Lord be with you and may He protect you and your children. And our prayer go out to families around the world, particularly in the Middle East, who are at the receiving end of what's happening there. Um, Being a survivor of war. Um, I'm very sympathetic and empathize with people who find themselves in war situation because I've been through that, you know. I've been through that. And if you've been through war, not hearing the story about it, not just seeing it on television, but if you've been through it, if you survive it, you've seen the dead decayed right before your eyes. You see someone that you knew killed before your eyes. You you ask for a friend that you were with a moment ago, then somebody say, "Oh, that bomb that dropped in the house, that person was there," or that person went to look for food in this place and they were killed. It does something to you uh, that make you question your faith in God and your faith in people. And I'm really troubled, you know. I'm really troubled. And it's not just because of what happened in the Middle East, um, but I'm troubled nowadays about many things. I'm troubled about my family, and I'm troubled about my children. I'm troubled about the world in which we live. It's easy to stay away, to be far away from trouble zone, you know. Like in the 90s when Liberia was going through its carnage, where hundreds of thousands of people were killed, destroyed, family destroyed, children life destroyed. I don't even want to talk about the material things because that you can regain, you can build a new house, you can build a company, you can rebuild a business, you can buy a new car, you can buy new clothes. But when somebody takes the life of your family member, when your child died because of decision that somebody made, a bomb drop in a house and your child is dead, decapitated, or your parents who went on the street to look for bread, you get a friend or family or neighbor run and say that bomb that dropped on the street, your father or your mother who was pregnant with your siblings was involved and they are dead. And you are 10 years old, you are 15 years old, you are 16 years old, you are 20 years old, and you ask yourself questions, why? you know. And people tend to say you can't ask God why. But I think we should ask God why. The question is not because God has answer for that or that God gave the order for that person to commit atrocity or to murder somebody. Is that God is the sovereignty, the internal, the everlasting, the maker of mankind. So you ask the question, why? Not so much, God, why you didn't stop that, but why? Why is this? Why have we become, humanity have become so cruel to one another? Why have we, why have we been on violence? Why have we been on destroying other people's lives? I mean, I get it. We may not like what the Iranians government have been doing to their own people. I mean, I haven't been to Iran before. I don't like the life of people in North Korea because watch a single person just imprison an entire nation and the whole world just watching. You look at places like Eritrea in Africa, other African country where dictators have been there, squander resources that should be benefiting their people. And then you go back in the 90s, you see war that took place in Africa, across Africa. You look at war in Liberia, Sierra Leone, Rwanda, Sudan, Angola, Namibia, Burkina Faso, Guinea, Ivory Coast. Millions of people die. Millions. And the people in the world who had every power to say to the people involved in those wars, stop, stop, and say to the gun supplier, stop. Nobody did that. Nobody did that. And I always wonder as a kid growing up in Liberia that when the war started and it was really at the point where people were just languishing about hopelessly, I thought, man, why? I thought the United States was our friend. Why can't they come to help us? They just came here, scooped their people and behind the embassy and put them, took them away and left us in this chaos. You know, when you are a child and you are going through war, you don't have answer for things. Like right now in Iran, in Israel, in the Gulf country, children who just wake up in the morning, they just want to go outside to play. They just want to go hang out with their friends. They just want to, teenager want to run on the street and have fun. And here we are tormenting them. Here we have the world leader of the United States of Israel, blowing them out, bumping them night and day. And we don't care. These leaders don't care whether there's a pregnant woman in the house, they just bomb. There's a toddler in the house, they just bomb. There's a child, there's a grandparent, there's a babysitter who just came to work and they left their family home. We just bomb them. We just bomb them. And we justify that we are trying to get peace. We are trying to bring hope to the Iranians. We are trying to bring peace in the Gulf region. We are trying to bring peace to the Israelites. We are trying to bring peace to the Lebanese. We are trying to bring peace to people, to the Palestinians. But at the same time, after you kill thousands of the very people you claim you want to bring peace to, what is the peace? Like, yesterday the United States Senate went to see how best they can put some restraint on what's happening in the Middle East, and the Republican Senate and some Democrats said, no, 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 you don't have to stop it. Let's keep pounding them with bomb. Let's just drop more bomb on them. Let's just kill as many as we can until they stop. There's something with us. There's something happening in the world. And for me, as a Christian living in America, sometimes I ask myself question, are there any Christians in America anymore? In fact, are there Christians in the world? We have this split where you have some Christians who say, oh, Israel is the God chosen people, so we have to keep blessing them, even if they commit atrocity. We just have to keep blessing them. Let's just keep blessing them because they are God chosen people. And then you have the other people say, no, Israel is not, they are not good people. Let's not. No, there is, you see, as a Christian, the way I read the Bible is different, you know. I don't think God chose Abraham because Abraham was better than Lot, his nephew. I don't think God chose Abraham because Abraham was better than any of the people of his time. No, I don't think so. I think God simply chose Abraham like he would choose anybody. And he chose Abraham for a reason. I will choose you, I'm choosing you, I will bless the world through your seed. I will bless you, I will bless your descendant, and through you, the entire world will be blessed. That's the mission. That's a simple mission. And so we see Abraham, for example, goes to Egypt because of farming, and he said to his wife, when we get there, tell the Egyptian that you are not my wife. So he gets there, and so the people say, oh, she's a beautiful woman. They take the woman to be Pharaoh's concubine. And the law comes to Pharaoh at night and say, hey, give the man wife back. You know, otherwise there will be destruction in your country. And sometimes you read the Bible that way and you think, okay, maybe God did this because, you know, maybe Abraham's life was better than the Egyptian. No, no. It's just that God has chosen Abraham to serve a purpose, and God has to provide provisions of protections and whatever Abraham would need to stay alive in order to fulfill the mission that God has given him. That's it. It's just like the way the United States or Liberia would send an ambassador somewhere and say, go in and serve a mission. And so, because you are there on behalf of the country has to protect you. The government has to protect you. They provide provision for you, they provide protection for you, security for you and for your family. That's it, because you are on a mission. But it does not mean that Abraham was better, because the first thing is that we see in that passage in Genesis chapter 13 is that God does not go to Abraham to rebuke Abraham and say to Abraham, why did you do that? Go get your wife. He doesn't say that. He goes to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh wake up in the morning and say, hey, Abraham, why will you do that? Come for your wife. This is not right. In fact, here are some, you know, cattle and whatever you want, you can go. You have enough to go. And he leave from there. And you kind of have to see that and say, you know, why would God spare the Egyptian? Because God loved them too. Because the principle is very simple. I call Abraham to serve as a light to the world, to bring my grace, my goodness, my mercy to the world. And that's what we see throughout the Bible. You know, I was saying to somebody the other day, I said, sometimes when we read the Bible, we tend to project ourselves in the past with contemporary mindset. So where we read the Bible about Jeremiah or any of the prophets or any of the prophetic time era or about Elijah or Moses, and we see that and we say, those people were really disobedient to God. They say, God did this for them, and yeah, they were disobedient. God brought the children of Israel out of Egypt, and they were disobedient. How can they do that? And like we put ourselves in the past and judge the people in the past, and we forget that in the presence we are also disobeying God. And and I was saying to this person, I said, it's strange, right? You look in the Bible, there is not a single generation from Abraham time to Isaac to Jacob to Joseph to Moses up to the time of Jesus. There is not a single generation in the Bible that was a generation of obedient people to God. Not one. The children of Israel that were brought from Egypt, they rejected Moses. Yes, they rejected Moses. They said, take us back. They rejected Moses. And because of their rejection of God, the language about in the wilderness until every single one of that generation died. And then they went into the promised land. They disobeyed God. In the time of Samuel, they came to Samuel and said, we don't want God ruling over us. We want our own king. Samuel said, no, you cannot do this. Samuel went to God. God said, no, Samuel, forget it. They are not rejecting you. That means they rejected Samuel. They are not rejecting you. They are rejecting me. I will give them king. They want king. They will have a king. They rejected Samuel. They rejected David. They rejected every single one of the prophets that came to them. Jesus speaking in John chapter 8, he said that you are the father, the children of your father who killed the prophets that were sent to them. Jesus going to the cross, turn back and say, do not weep for me, weep for your children. Oh, Jerusalem, you will kill prophets who were sent to you. I am not saying this to turn a dark eye or a dark cloud on Israel or currently Israel or the people who are Jews. No, I'm saying that God did not choose Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Israel because they were perfect, because they were upright. He simply chose them to carry out a mission, and they fail every single time. In fact, at some point in the Bible, God has to say to Moses, move out of the way. Let me get rid of these people. I will raise another group of people through you. Moses said, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. Otherwise, the nation around us will say, you brought your people out of Egypt to destroy them in the wilderness. So God said, well, then they are going to stay here until this generation. None of them go into the promised land. Only two went through. Two. That was Joshua and Caleb. And that brings me to this point. One scripture that I read in the Bible that terrified me was when God saved 8 souls in the beginning after recognizing the reality that man has become evil in Genesis chapter 6. The Bible says that God looked upon and that every thought, let me go there and read that to you, okay? Because it's important for us to understand that. God saw on earth that man has become so cruel, so wicked, that every thought, every imagination, let me read this Genesis chapter 6. This is Genesis chapter 6, beginning with verse 1. It said, when human beings had become increased in number on earth and daughters were born to them, the sons of man saw that the sons of God saw that the daughters of human were beautiful, and they married. And of them they chose. Then the Lord said, my spirit will not contend with human forever, for they are mortal. Their days should be 120 years. Now, you can read the rest, but let me just go down to the point I want to. Um, In Genesis 6:5, it says, Then the Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race have become on earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of human heart was only evil all the time. All the time. That the inclination of the thought of everybody have become evil. That means every thought, it was so bad that every thought that everybody was thinking was cruelty and evil towards one another. And God said, what kind of people are these? How can you be like this? What happened to you? The thing is, thoughts and imagination are like seed, and the Bible says, whatever seed we sow, that is what we reap. Whatever seed we sow, that's we reap. You can't go out sowing violence, death, and evil and cruelty, and then the harvest season comes, and then you expect peace and wonder and joy and singing and hallelujah to come to your doorstep. No, it doesn't work like that. We cannot go around committing atrocity around the world, killing children, sowing the ground with innocent blood from nation to nation to nation. And the people who are doing this, the United States Senate that decided yesterday, we are not going to vote, the violence will continue, innocent people will continue to die. God say every blood that drop on the soil is defying the earth. And every blood that drop on the soil, every innocent blood is crying for vengeance. And that's what I say. That's what I started by saying. If you haven't been in the middle of war, violence before, it's different for you for grasp. We don't learn from the history of pain. No, we don't. Human being, we don't learn from the history of pain. We learn from pain. We don't learn from the history of pain. That's why sometimes people say, oh, we haven't learned from history. We haven't learned from history. I watch CNN and all of these, websites. Oh, we haven't learned. We haven't learned. The reason is because we don't learn from history. We learn from pain. The reason people in Liberia, the reason people in Sierra Leone, the reason people in West Africa or across Africa are doing everything they can to prevent war from happening in their country is because they've gone through that and they know what it looks like. They know what it looks like. I know what war looks like because I went through it from 13 years old. By the time I became an adult, I spent half of my entire life in the middle of chaos and brutality and carnage and savagery. Human beings can be cruel, and it has nothing to do with white and black, brown and yellow, Iranian and American, Israelis and this, that. It has nothing to do that because the war, for example, that was fought in Rwanda, it was not black and white. No, it was not European and African. It was not Chinese and Japanese. No, it was Rwandans against Rwanda. The war in Bosnia was not Bosnia versus, Venezuela. It was between Bosnia. In Yugoslavia, it was the Yugoslavian. Yeah. The thing is, when it comes to human cruelty, when it comes to what we are seeing, what we are supporting, because we are supporting it with our tax dollar. Those of us who live in America, sometimes I'm sometimes just stressed. At the same time, sometimes I say I'm not going to put TV on to watch this, but then at the same time, it's like, well, how will you know what's happening? And it stresses me out. But at the same time, it's like you find Americans in mainstream media. And they are talking about, from Saturday to today, we already killed, I don't know how many, more than thousands of people, because we haven't accounted for all the people that are died. We just throw number out and say, oh, according to the Iranian government, 920 some more people have died. According to Israel, 11 people have died. According to this person have died. We talk about the death of people like we are talking about the death of chickens. We treat our cats and dogs in our house better than we treat our fellow human beings. War should be something that, if we ever decide to go to war, it should be something that the whole country should sit down and think twice and say, should we go to that place? Because guess what? In our country, if we go there, there are children, there are women, there are pregnant women, there are young newborn babies, there are grandparents. They are just like us, like our children. We who live in America, we wake up in the morning, you get in your kitchen, you get your breakfast, you go to the store, you go to the gas station, you put your children on yellow bus and send them to school, and you in this bubble, and you think life is just peaceful, wonderful, secure. Everything is amazing. And you just live life as though that's how things are for other people. And you elect people that you expect will be reasonable enough to say, if we are going to go to war and kill other people and kill other people's children and kill other people's parents and kill other people's grandparents and destroy their country and destroy their way of life and destroy their history and destroy everything about them, no peace come out of that. No generosity come out of that. Because here is the truth that I would tell most Americans that they don't know, maybe that they don't think of, because we've been sitting in this bubble in America or in the West. You see, there might be an Iranian on the street dancing, like we were showing on television. Oh, there are some Iranian that were dancing because the Ayatollah was killed. They were happy. They even threw his monument down and what have you, and they were dancing on the street. Yes, they will dance. They will keep dancing. That is until a bomb drop on your father. That is until an Israeli bomb drop on your father or your daughter or your son or your grandfather or your mother or your pregnant wife. Then you realize, oh my God, the American bomb, the Israeli bomb just killed my pregnant wife, and I am angry now. The person who was dancing because they thought you were coming to save them, you just turned them into your enemy. You just turned them into your enemy. So the Iranian that are jumping around on the street and going, yo, 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 yeah, the Americans are coming to save us. Yeah, wait, let bombs start dropping in the hospital where your wife went to deliver last night. The Israeli bombs start dropping in schools where your kids went yesterday. Let it drop in your gas station, in a restaurant, in a hotel, in your village where you thought you were escaping to survive, to stay cool. Suddenly reality start to set in. And this is the I don't know whether it's something that God gave us or that's something that we just develop, where we tend to be more absent-minded when something is not really affecting us, even when it's closer to us. We act like it's not really affecting us because I'm not feeling the pain, so it's not affecting me. Like, no. Before the war started, I was saying to people, the Gulf states, they are sitting down there, they go riding their camelbacks in the winter, in the desert and desert sand. They take sun bath, and our American and Africans and Nigerian and Liberians and Caribbeans, they go to the Middle East and, where are we going to Dubai? I'm spending my birthday in Dubai. Fantasyland. Fantasyland. And and they thought that they will continue to ride a camelback while Iranian children are being bombed. They thought they were going to be singing kumbaya, going to hotel, eating their special made cuisine, and going on their races and going wherever they want to go, car race, motor race, and swimming pool, and ice cream on a nice sunny day while bomb is dropping across the ocean on the other side. That's what they thought. You need to ask African. You need to go to Europe, ask country that have gone through war. There is no civility. There's no civility in war. If you're a neighbor, you will feel the pain of that. And when I thought about that, I thought, like the the American leadership knew that if they went to Iran, war would break out in the entire Middle East. And it's coming. They don't stop now. That's what's going to happen. And it's going to affect all of us. I'm not just talking about those of us in America, I'm talking about people around the world. And the thing is, it's not a matter of, oh, if the war escalate, Britain is going to get on America's side, or France is going to get on America's side, or this other country, or maybe the Russian and the Chinese are going to get on the Iranian side, and it's going to be World War III. It's not about that. It's about the stupidity of the leaders that we are electing today to sit in offices, who drag our children, our brothers and sisters, to go die in dumb war, stupid war that they have no reason to be in. The Bible said, blessed are the peacemakers in Matthew chapter 5. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. They shall be called sons of God, daughters of God. Sometimes I think modern days Christians have become so lukewarm that I don't know whether they read the Bible or they are just illiterate. They don't read what's in the Bible, so they just go Jesus. Broad is the way. Why is the gate that leads to destruction, and many will follow that. The unique thing about the Bible is there's not a single place in the Bible where the prophets, a servant of God, ever sat down and allowed the king of a country do whatever they wanted to do at will. Today, Christians on their pulpits across America and across Europe, they go to church every day and act like there's nothing wrong with the world. There's nothing wrong with their country. They preach about prosperity, they preach about wealth, they preach about this and what new car you're going to get, and this, that, how God has blessed you with this amazing home, amazing marriages, and what have you. And yet in America, on the street, we are shooting people broad daylight on the street, and nobody is panicking. No pastor is panicking in the pulpit and say, what the hell? Yeah, because we have people who carry Bible to the Congress and say, I'm a Christian. I brought my Bible to the Congress. And these guys, their behavior is like people who are demon incarnate. You questioned their sanity. Is like, how can you say you're a Christian and you endorse stuff like that? Paul said to Timothy, do not partake of other people's sin. Don't just lay hand on people, because you might be laying on some arrogant fools who do not know what they are doing, and you will take the responsibility. You are going to be responsible because you lay hand on that person. So if you are going to ordain somebody, lay hand on somebody to become a leader of the church, you better know who that person is. But today we don't do that. Today you just wake up in the morning, they say, oh, Peter James is going to be the representative of your district, and you don't even know what this guy stands for. And then he stand in the Congress and says some rubbish that make nothing to do with the improving the life of people who pay their taxes, people who actually gave you the job. You know, I for me, I just wanted to go on record that at least, when people check online tomorrow, 2000, 100, 200 years from now, at least they will find my voice and say, oh, there was somebody sitting down somewhere and putting this word out for people to hear it. Because I just think as a Christian, Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5, verse 14, you are the light of the world. You, Christians, are the light of the world. A city on the hill. Sometimes you know, they say that the White House has a Christian, American, renowned American Christian pastor who is a faith person, and I don't know whether they are praying for more bomb to be dropped on innocent people in Iran. I don't know what they are praying for. I don't know what American Christians are praying for today, that more bombs should be dropped in Iran. Because we look into the Bible and we say, oh, that's prophecy. That's prophecy. This morning, somebody was talking about that. Oh, that's prophecy. That's prophecy happening right now. That's prophecy. The amazing thing is the Bible, before all of that were written, if you go into Genesis chapter 1, I always love Genesis because it's the beginning of God's plan for humanity. God said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness, that they may have dominion on earth. Everything that happened on this planet, on earth, in our world, we are responsible for that. If we want peace, we can create peaceful environment. If we want violent, we can create violent environment. If we want a tyrant to be our president, we can create one. We created Hitler in the past. We created Mussolini in the past. We created, what's this guy from, you know, we created Charles Taylor, for example, in Liberia. Some of the Sierra Leone created for the Sankor. And we created, like in Ivory Coast right now, they've created a guy called Alassane Ouattara who have changed the constitution to be president for, I don't know whether he's going to be president for another fourth term. That we create the monsters that become president of country. We create them. We endorse them. We put our stamp on them and say, yes, go represent us. You are our leader. And then we get surprised when they do what they do. This is not some demon coming from somewhere and invading humanity and say, nah, I'm taking over you people. When the book of Revelation talks about the world coming to an end, it's not because God has designated a particular time to say, hey, at this time, 10 a.m. in the morning, the war is going to come to an end. No, no. This world coming to an end, we have a major role to play as Christians, as people who believe in God. Now, I don't know what it means for somebody to say they are Jews who believe in God. Yeah, they believe in God. If you are a Muslim, you claim to believe in God. You even believe in Jesus. If you are Jews, you believe that there's a Messiah that is to come. Whether you believe Jesus was the Messiah or not. The point is, whether you believe your God is the Christian God or the Judean God or the Islamic God or the Buddha or whatever God you can. The thing is, if you go to every country, everybody believe that there is a supremacy, there is a supreme entity that rule in the affairs of man, as Nebuchadnezzar recognized and said it in Daniel chapter 4. That the Most High rules in the affairs of man. You see, in Genesis chapter 15, God said to Abraham, go there and read it. He said, the Amorites and the Canaanites and all of the people who live in this land, I'm still giving them time. Their cup is not yet full. You go, your people will go to Egypt, they will stay there, they will become slave there, and then after 400 years, that means the people who were in that land God waited 400 years, forgiving them for 400 years, having mercy and grace on them for 400 years. That's how patient God is. Second Peter 2, God said, Peter said, God is not slight concerning his promises. No, he's not slight concerning his promises. If you think God is, just sit there and say, oh, I wish I could do something about that. No, no. He's patient so that we can come to repentance, so that we can come to our sanity, to our senses, and say, this is wrong. What happened in Iran is wrong. There's a way, you call it diplomacy, you call it the way of peace, you call it whatever you want to call it. Sometimes I was saying to somebody the other day, I say, imagine if the United States government decided that we are going to take 10 of our largest ship in America, just load it up with goodies like bags of rice, bags of beans, fish cup, copy books and pencils, and then put some musicians on the ship and then send them to Cuba and say, here we come. And then the Cuban army are going to come on the ocean and say, who are you people? You cannot come. You are coming on in the Cuban territory. And the people say, hey, we are bringing you some good things. We are bringing you food. We are bringing you this. We are bringing you that. We love you. America love you. We just wanted to tell you that we love you and we want to be at peace with you. Here's it. And then the Cuban come in the ship and they look around and all they see are just food and copybooks. I know they will be terrified. They said, these people want us to eat this food so we can all die at once and then they can take our land. No. And then they realize the ship docked in Cuba and the Cuban are happy and excited because America has sent them oil and food and what have you. And they are excited. And the Americans say, we want peace. We don't want to kill you. We don't want to suffer you. We don't want to suffocate you. We don't want to keep our boots on your neck. We just want peace with you. Imagine what will happen in Cuba. I just wonder what will happen in Cuba. What will happen in Cuba? You know, I just wonder what will happen. Like all the country. What if one day Israel decided, we've been talking that Iran is our enemy, the Lebanese are our enemy, the Palestinians are our enemy. We're going to do something different. Instead of dropping bomb on them, how about we drop ice cream on them? We will baptize the people in Gaza with ice cream. Yeah, ice cream. We will drop real ice cream from the sky on them. And we sit on their shoulder, on their head, and they will rub their head and say, what is it? And they'll test it and say, it's ice cream! It is ice cream! And then, like Israel like to drop their leaflet, say, we're not dropping bomb on you anymore. We want you to be at peace. We want to be at peace with you. The Bible say, pursue peace at all cost. Pursue peace at all cost, in as much as it lies with you, in as much that the responsibility to pursue peace resides with you. Pursue peace. He who desired a friend must first be friendly. You cannot carry them violent to somebody's doorstep and expect the person to greet you with kindness. Never. Never. It doesn't happen. And as long as we sit in our comfortable places, like the way I'm sitting in my comfortable chair here, and say, well, that's not happening to me. I'm not an Iranian, I'm not an Israelis, I'm not a Lebanese, I'm not from Gaza, I'm not from Pakistan or whatever it is. I'm not from Saudi Arabia, so the bomb that dropped there, whoever died there, is none of my business. Recently in Texas, somebody went there and killed innocent people who were just hanging out on the streets, killed them. Why? They were angry for whatever reason. Maybe because America went to Iran, so they thought we need to go avenge the Iran, so kill two people. I don't know how much impact that will have on the sanity of the people in Congress so that they can say, oh, there are some people in this country are killing. We need to stop the war. But that didn't help because, the people didn't even pay reference to that. They didn't even think about that. They just let's keep bumping, let's keep bumping, like no, you kill innocent people for nothing. Yeah, you just kill innocent people for nothing, absolutely nothing, and you are a coward. You're a coward. If you sit behind your big bullet and you killing innocent people, you are a coward. You are not a leader. Yeah, you are not. You are not. I was, once in a word, once in a while, you hear the story and you are like, wow, I didn't know that were people stay like that. It's funny. Like you watch television, the Iranian leaders are still like coming on American television. I don't know how they are managing that from the ground, but they are still coming to American television and saying to Americans, hey, we want peace. We don't want war. We want peace. We just want peace. We can talk about this nuclear weapon. We want peace. And then American leaders are like, no, let's keep dropping bomb on them. Let's keep dropping bomb on them. Like how is that? I don't understand that. Like the person you are killing, you trying to kill the person and say, "Hey, we want peace. Oh, we want peace. We are not the one that started this thing. We want peace." And then you are like, "Yeah, let's go after the no peace." This guy from Entropic, the CEO of Entropic. I don't know what his name. He called the Pentagon and said, "No, you're not going to use our Claude technology for that. No, you're not using that for autonomous weapons." The guy said, no, you're not going to do that. We're not using our weapon for that. No, that it was not intended for that. Once in a while, you find people like that. They have a prophetic instinct. They have decency. They still have some moral compass to stand to say no. I don't know whether that guy is a Christian or not, but he stood up and said no. And then after he just left the office, turned his back, Mr. You know, the open AI CEO, I don't want to call people name, came there and say, hey, I'm here. You can use mine. You can use mine. That guy doesn't want the contract. I want the contract. You can use mine. You can just send whatever you want to send. I'm okay with that. Like, I'm gonna close on this. On my background, you see me there. That's my It's my daughter, beautiful daughter, and my wife there. My sons, my kids are on the side. Now all my kids there. You know, one of the things that bother me now and a day is this. Um, uh, yeah, there you go. Most of the stress that I feel down the day is about my own children. You know, I'm a Christian, and as an adult, I believe, if the Lord decide to take me home one day, whatever day, I still believe in Jesus. I believe in his redemptive power. I believe that he loved Israelis the same way he loved Iranian, the same way he loves Americans, the same way he loved Russian and Ukrainian and Norwegians and the Danish and the Indians, Nigerian, Liberian, Egyptian. God loved all his children. And so when I sit these days, I ask myself the question, as a parent, you know, can I even protect my own children? Can I? In a world where there are people who can make unilateral decisions, who can wake up in the morning and decide, I am going to terrify some people today, and they go out and do it. Like the guy who killed the people in Texas, that the guy who was killed in Minnesota the other time on the streets. Like, You watch this video, like the woman who was shot in the car, like the woman is sitting there and smiling, like in a split second before she's dead, she's smiling, saying, I am not angry with you. Like in the split second, the last word that comes from her mouth is, I am not angry with you, with smile. And the next thing, she's dead. There's a bullet in her. You know, you, you have to be, I don't want to say it's you are demonic. I don't want to say that, but you really have to be an alien from different planet to really look at stuff like that. Look at what happened in the Middle East now and sit down and say, I can eat my crackers. I'm fine with that. Yeah. If you're a Christian and you watch what happened in the world and and you go to church and your pastor is talking about, you know, uh sow seed. Or, oh, there's a prophetic word for you. Oh, the Lord is going to deliver you. Or the Lord is going to do this. You should walk out of that church. You should walk out. You should walk out. Because here is my saying to you. If we are Christian today, if we are not the light of the world, if we don't tell people, those that sit in power, those we elect to become presidents, to become leaders, to become judges, if we don't hold those people accountable, if we don't expose what they are doing, if we don't talk about the wrong they are doing, this world is not safe for you, for me, for our children. You might be under the illusion that somehow your community is safe, that my community is safe, that our country is safe, that Liberia, that Uganda, that Venezuela, that, Argentina, Brazil is safe, that Japan, that China is safe, that Indonesia is safe. The Bible said, do unto others as you will have them do unto you. The responsibility for civilities, the responsibility for peace, the responsibility for kindness, the responsibility for goodness, the responsibility for decency always start with us first. It starts with me first. It starts with you first. It's not the other way around. It's not like you have to be good before I treat you good. Because if that was the case, God would have wiped out everything here. But yet, Jesus said God came to uproot the fig tree he had planted. And the person, the vine dresser said to God, no, just let it be. Let me dig around it. Let me take care of it. Let me nurture it for another year. And then if it doesn't bear fruit, you can come back and cut it. I always say that is the moment of grace. We are in the age of grace. In the age of grace. So if you are a lukewarm Christian and you think what's happening is fine, you are European American Christian and you think what's happening to Mexicans and Venezuelan and what happened wherever people come from, we are branding people just so we can get rid of them. You are this, so we get rid of them. You are narcos terrorists, and then because you are a narco terrorist, we brand you, so we take you out. Yeah, because that's what you have to do. You have to say that Africans were less human beings, so you can put chain on their neck, put them in ship, bring them to America, and then when your ship was loaded on high sea heavy, you throw them in the ocean. You have to brand them in order to do evil. The reason we are comfortable eating apple and banana because we know that they are fruits. The reason you can go in the ocean and fish, for, tuna and what have you, and bring it and put it on your table and eat because it's normal for you to eat. It's food for you to eat. The reason we take care of our environment because we know we live within our environment, and so we need to take care of it. If we don't take care of it, it's not going to take care of because we breathe the air every day. So if we keep it dirty, it's going to affect us. If we keep it clean, it's going to affect us. We are branding every single time. And the moment we look at a group of people, the particular group of people, and we say that those people, they are the evil ones. Those people, they are the terrorists. Those people, they are the bad ones. Those people, they are the animals. Those people, they are the criminals. Those people, they are the this. We just need to brand them. And then we can take them out. And then write a history book and tell our children that they were really bad. That we were good and they were really bad. That's it. So we convince ourselves in the West, and those of us who are in the West, and those of us who support, democracy or whatever it is, those of us who are Christian, who want peace in this world, who are praying every day, peace with our neighbor, peace in our children's school, peace in our shopping mall, peace on our street when you're driving on the street, so that your neighbor driving by you can drive in peace, go to work and come back, see their family safely. We are praying for peace. And yet every now and then some demagogue, some cruel messenger sitting somewhere in a position elected into is sitting there and designing a scam to brand somebody. And then say, now we can go kill them. Once we brand them, we can kill them. Once we redefine who they are, we can get rid of them. And that's the world we live in. But here's the thing. Until we treat Indians and Liberians and English and the Irish and the Finns and the Russian and the Chinese like we are people living in the same estate, living on the same planet, drinking the same water, breathing the same air, going to fishing in the same ocean, that there's more. If we can come together and cherish one another, there's more in this world to go around. We can have more food to go around, more wealth to go around, more peace to go around. The same way oxygen is not in shortage. We all breathe the same air, and yet we never run out of air. People say, oh, there's water shortage. There's no water shortage. Please, there's not. There's enough for all of us. And so there's no need for us to antagonize, to terrify other people in order for us to survive. There's no need for me to go beat my neighbor up just for me and my children to be okay. There's no need for that. There's no need to drop bomb on other country so that we can be safe. Because that bomb only turned those people into enemies. Angry enemies. In fact, they are not even enemies. Because now you gave them justification to do bad. And so what I would say is this. The Gulf countries, you guys need to get your act together. Come together and say to the United States, if you don't stop this war, if you do not stop this war now, we are not attacking you. We are just telling you, pack all your stuff from our country, go to your country and shoot your gun from there. Don't shoot it from our side. Don't keep your stuff here in my house and then throwing it at the neighbors and then telling the neighbors not to shoot at my house. Like, that's what happened in the Middle East. You want war with that guy? Fine. Go keep your ship on the ocean and throw your bomb from there. Don't keep your base here. Don't keep your people here and what have you. Those who come here for tourism and what have you, that's fine. We will keep them. They came here as our visitor. But if you will come here and use our bases to launch gun all over the place, no, not for us. And to Israel, you are supposed to be the light of the world. You are supposed to be the blessings of God to the world. The message given to Abraham, the original message to Abraham, I want you to be a blessing to all of humanity. All, not some. Not the warmonger, not the brutes, not a barbaric messengers of cruelty. That's not what God sent you to do. You are supposed to be the blessings. You are supposed to be the agents of peace. You are supposed to be the agents of goodness and kindness, the best in this world. It's not technology. Nobody cares about technology if their child is dead by your bomb. Nobody cares about your technology if they can't go to the market to buy food because you're dropping bomb on the market, or they can't go to hospital because you drop bomb in the hospital. Nobody cares about your goodness. Nobody cares about your benefits. Nobody cares. It might be one person, but that person, you just turned them against you. So we need a different perspective in this world. And I would say this, I'm gonna say that lastly to end this conversation. Here's my word to my African brothers and sisters. Do not ever, Africans, and before I say that, let me say this. I never said this. I don't think I said this before. I'm a Liberian, and I grew up in Liberia, and I was in Liberia during the war. And the people who came to our aid were our West African brothers, Nigerians. Their sons and daughters died in Liberia. Ghanaians, sons and daughters, Malians, Sierra Leoneans, Guineans. Our brothers came to us. They died to save us. They didn't come there. I know they came. They took some of our stuff. Loaded the ship with some of our cars and golds and diamond. But that's fine because your government will not pay you much. So I'm not angry with you, my my brother, my West African brothers. But you came to our aid. You helped us. And for that, I am forever grateful for my West African brothers. You will always be honored. You will always be in our hearts as Liberian because you came to us, you saved us. When the whole world cared nothing to do with us, you came and saved us and stopped us from destroying ourselves. So we are indebted to you, particularly the Nigerian who spearheaded everything until the end. We are indebted to you. Liberia is indebted to you. And I say that to say in West Africa, across Africa, let us never allow our country, our neighbors, to implode into violence that takes life. We need to start thinking differently about how we govern. And we should never allow somebody from outside to cross our border or use our air base to attack our neighbors. Never. Africans, we should never allow that. What happened in Libya must be the last. We should never allow any African country, not Liberia, not Sierra Leone, not Senegal, not Iraq. I mean, Iraq is not in Africa. Not Morocco, not Egypt, not Kenya, not Mozambique, not South Africa, not Lesotho, not Angola, not Congo, not Cameroon. No country in Africa should allow themselves to become the base for terrorism in Africa. Because if we want peace, we have to nurture peace. Europe has been the place of peace for the past 75 years because after World War II, they decided we want peace. We are not going to attack one another. We are going to pursue peace at all costs. That is until Russia and Ukraine happen. But Russia was not part of that pact. So in Africa, we should commit to the civility. We should commit to the peace, to the preservation of our brothers and sisters, not through violence, but through kindness. Like West African Economic Community did for us Liberians. when they came to our aid. Let us maintain that. The war in Congo has got to stop. Rwanda president, Uganda president, Kenya president, you guys need to come together and say to those people who don't make guns in their country, but every time they don't even have shoes to wear, but they have bullets. They don't have a decent clothes to put on, but they have AK-47. I know that because I was in Liberia. These guys go around selling gun to African country, poor country, and then they go and kill their own brothers and sisters. Look at what happened in Sudan. We cannot allow our country to become the base camp for atrocity against our brothers and sisters. And I would say the same thing to anybody in the Americas, in the United States. We cannot continue to sit by and allow our leaders unilaterally, whatever they think they know, whatever secret they have, whatever they've heard, to just go around bombing other countries. If we want peace, we have to pursue peace. If we want stability, we have to pursue stability. God did not call us to war. If you read the Bible, then you think, well, God used the children of Israel, the nation of Israel, to destroy the nation before them. Remember, I quoted Genesis chapter 15. You should go there and read it too. There was a reason why God destroyed those nations. In fact, even at that, when Israel was moving to the promised land, they were only allowed to attack nations that prevented them from entering into the promised land. Nations that opened their doors for them to pass were not attacked. So we should pursue peace. And that's my only contribution to the world. Wherever you are, if you receive this message, pass it on to somebody. We can be good, nice, kind. We can argue. We can even throw some blow. But we should always preserve a place for reconciliation, a place for dialogue, a place for negotiation. Because once you kill the other person, you don't have any place anymore to say sorry. Because we as human beings do not have the power of life. You can kill somebody, but you can't give them life. So we should have tremendous amount of time to think and think and think and think before going to war, before resorting to violence. Because in the end, there's no going back when that person is dead, when our nation is destroyed, when a child is without parents, when the parents love their children and they lost them. The severity of losing somebody through the violence of another person is not something that go away easily. And that's why we continue to see violence in the Middle East. We have got to come to our mind. Thank you for listening today, and may God bless you, and may God continue to bless the people of Israel. May God show them his life and open their mind so that they can elect the right people to lead them, not into war, not into violence, but into peace. You do not want the part of scripture that Daniel and Jesus spoke about in Matthew chapter 24 about the abomination of desolation. Israel, you don't want to become that. Don't become that. Be the agents of peace, the agents of love and the goodness of God and the message of God. Thank you. And may God bless you. And may the peace of God reign in Iran. And may God protect them. And may God save them. And may God save people in the Middle East, in Israel, in Lebanon, May God save our sons and daughters, people on the street, police officer in America on the streets, soldiers who have to follow order. May God save them, protect them. And may God help us to choose the right leaders to lead us. Thank you. Bye-bye.